Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Michael for God Today, and I just got done making a video on bad churches, and where I talked a little bit about the eye and the ear gates, how it's important to protect them. And we're going to go ahead in this video and talk a little bit more about that. I do believe part of my assignment that the Father's moving me into is as a gatekeeper and a shield of protection for people. And I'm seeing a bit more of that tonight as he's got me up working late. It's past 2 a.m. already, and things are just downloading. So I hope the Holy Spirit leads me and speaks through me correctly and gets us out in an appropriate manner and timing, as it is important. I see that we need to guard our eyes. We need to guard our ears. And this rolls over also into pornography, and it'll help with lust as well. And I've made some videos in the past on this that I've deleted from my channel, and I think it's a good time just to re-upload it and talk about it again to help folks come to an understanding of what appropriate gates are for. So when God made the eyes were made to look out into the world and see the light and to see love. And when we have a sexual relationship, when we're married appropriately, we are to look into the eyes of our soulmate. So ideally, you want to be face to face. And then the eyes are for the eyes, right? If you start straying and moving the eyes to any different parts of the body, that's where you start to get into lust issues. You start looking at other body parts, and you know, that's where demons get attachments, because suddenly you have a heart condition, right? You got away from what God created the eyes for, and now you're looking at not the person anymore, not the soul. You're looking at a body part, and you're thinking that body part is that person, but it's not. You know? I mean, yeah, we're created to be attracted to body parts. You know? That's what gets us to have an interest in someone, right? But the hands were made for the body. Okay? So the hands are to touch and to feel. Right? The eyes are to stay connected with the real person, the soul essence of that's inside the vessel. Right? So hands are for the body, eyes are for the eyes. Mouth is for the mouth. Okay? For kissing. If you draw your mouth away from its appropriate gate, right? And you go to other parts of the body, well, then you're going to open demonic doorways, like oral sex, which is very bad, right? And that's got the mark of adultery on it. You don't want to invite demons in doing that, right? Ears are for the voice, so when someone speaks, right, you're close up, right? You can whisper and hear the ears. Nose is for smelling the hair. Okay? So God made it intimate with these eye, ear, right? Voice gates for that purpose of intimacy. So if you're struggling with pornography, it's because you're misusing these gates. And you can practice changing it by practicing appropriate sexual intimacy. You know, I'd recommend cuddling, whether sitting up or laying down. That way you're face to face throughout the whole experience. When we get away from that and we start doing different positions, well, your wife's not a dog, right? She's not a whore of Babylon. So there's things you got to consider biblically. What's the divine institution of what God was intending for marriage and intending for sexual intimacy and intending for these physical senses that we've been given. And the devil's so good at trying to get you to look at these images, right, and programs to get these doorways open. That's why we don't do bad things like oral sex and anal sex and other things. You're asking for possession of demons when you start doing that, and you're breaking the rules of the gateways that God instituted. You have to forgive me, I'm kind of tired because it is kind of late. So anyway, where are we going with this? It's important that we realize that we protect ourselves from the devil, protect ourselves from Satan's schemes. If you still struggle with lust, turn off the lights. With that, have a good evening. God bless.